Good morning. So I just was finishing up my calibration frames for M31, the Andromeda Galaxy, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new piece of software that I'm going to start using. I've been testing it out and using it on some of my past data to see how it does, and I have been really impressed with it. The name of the software, currently it's a working title because it's in beta, is AstroSharp, and it is developed as a neural network, kind of an AI, astro sharpening, and it does, well, I think, I would call it deconvolution. As part of that process, it's similar to what I've been using in Serial for working with my stars and the PSF data, but it also does denoise as a secondary part of the process. And the results that I've been getting have really been, I've been impressed with. So, and I think you will too. So the software is currently in beta, and it has a GitHub, and I'll provide links in the description, and also up in the up above here. But I wanted to take you through the process. It's not too hard to install. There are a few hoops. I'm on a Mac, and Mac's got a few more hoops than Windows. I believe the Windows version of it has a exe installer. And but anyway, it's multi-platform. Instructions are in the videos over on Deep Sky Detail for those, but I'll go through the installation process on Mac and then show you the results I've been getting. So anyway, I'm Doug, and this is AstroAF, and thank you for joining me today. All right, so we're going to get into installation of AstroSharp, which is actually two parts. There's AstroSharp and there's also AstroClean. And there's a hybrid option in the software where you can do both of those, or you have the option to do perhaps sharpening first and then come back through and reload your sharpen file and then do a clean process on it. I found that the hybrid option in this, which I'll show you in a little bit, works really fine for me, although there may be cases where that may change and it might be more beneficial to do it. Anyway, you have the flexibility to go through that workflow however you would like. So the again, it does have the two pieces available. So we have the sharpening, which is AstroSharp, and then we have the denoise, which it really does kind of a deconvolution on the stars that I've noticed, and that is the AstroClean side of it. So anyway, we'll have a look, and I'll walk you through the installation process for Mac because that's what my platform is. The video over at Deep Sky Detail has installation steps for other platforms, and so if you're on Windows, for example, then I'll direct you over there for those steps because I can't really show you in this video. So anyway, stick around. I hope you enjoy what we've got going on here and find this interesting. This software is working awesome for me, and I really had a wow moment. I was working with some data that I had already processed a few weeks ago, and I had gotten through my own process, and I was really happy with it. And after running it through AstroSharp in the hybrid process, it came out, and it was like I didn't know what I was missing, and I really thought that it made an improvement to my images. So, and I think it would for you as well. It's freely available software. It's open source, available on GitHub, and there's just a little bit of setup work that needs to be done because it is in beta. And so as far as getting the software running, it's not hard. It just has a few steps involved. And I'm going to walk you through those steps here for installing on Mac so you can check it out for yourself. So let's take a look. Well, I'll get myself out of the way here so my face isn't over the top of any of the instructions that I'm about to show you. So to get started, the first thing that you're going to need is to install R, which is the, I guess, programming language that is used for developing AstroSharp. So you'll want to navigate to https cloud.r-project.org, and you can see that up here. So you'll want to go there, and I'll have the link down in the description. And then choose the download for your platform. So whether it be on Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. After you've installed that, you will probably be presented with the Mac security that won't allow the software to be installed. You'll need to go into system settings and then your privacy and security, and we can take a quick look at that. And scroll into your privacy and security, and then you'll scroll down. I don't have it here right now, but there will be a place here where it'll show that the application installation was blocked from installing, and you can allow it there. And then once you click on allow, then you'll go ahead and click on install and go through your normal installation process like you would for any other application. Following that, you'll want to download RStudio, and that is located at posit.co/downloads. Again, I'll have this link down in the description. And install that for your platform. So you'll want to download the RStudio, and I just want to note there is a free version of that, so you're going to want to choose this download here for the free version. And then go through the same installation process, and if you need, it will probably block the application from installation, and you'll need to go into settings and allow that as well. And then you are also going to need on Mac to install Xcorts, and you can get Xcorts at xcorts.org. And this was an open source project which related to the X Windows system that used to actually be in Mac OS, but it's not anymore. So you'll need to install the Xcorts package, whatever the latest version is on that, and go through the same installation process as you would normally. So then you'll want to open up RStudio. So once you have RStudio open, the first time it may ask you to find your R installation location that you just installed, but it should detect it automatically. And if it does ask you, there'll be a place for you to enter in your R programming language installation location. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check current working directory is for RStudio. And so over in the console, we can type getwd with parentheses and just hit enter, and we can see mine is currently configured here in my home directory, and I named it r_wd, and I did that just basically, that name right there was basically the convention of the instructions provided by Deep Sky Detail, and so I just was sticking with that for consistency. Your working directory won't be that right now if you haven't already created it, so we'll need to create that working directory, and you can actually do that in your Finder. And for me, like I said, my location, I created this r_wd directory, and I'll leave this open for a minute. You create a directory, and you can name it whatever you like, but this is what I did. But create the working directory on your file system, and then we want to head over to the GitHub for AstroSharp and download the AstroSharp application. So from here, we are at github.com/deepskydetail/AstrosSharp, and that link will also be in the description. I'm on the AstroClean add branch, which I believe this is the current branch. There's a couple other ones in here that were working branches for different things. So AstroClean add has the features in it that I'm showing off today. And then you can go over to the code button then here and select it, and then you can download the zip file. Or if you wish, you can check out the file with Git. I just went with the zip file. And so anyway, download that zip. And then what I did is I just placed the zip in the working directory that I created. It's just convenient, so it's right there. I can then go back into RStudio. We can double check here on the General tab to make sure that your working directory is set up. So you can go into Tools and then Global Options. And then on the General tab, you'll find the R session right under R sessions, the default working directory, and I've got that set up to my R_WD. You can click on the Browse button here and navigate your file system to modify that to whatever you need. So at this point, I can actually just click on the zip file here to expand it. And this is the file that I just downloaded from a Deep Sky Details GitHub for AstroClean. Alright, so we now have that file expanded. So we can then go into the uncompressed file here, and what we're actually interested in is this resources directory. So click on that to open it, and then click on the app directory. Now these are all the files that we're interested in. In the Deep Sky Details explanation, he created a folder that was called Shiny at the root of the working directory. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go back into my RWD location, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it Shiny. And I think this is just a convention because it's a Shiny app. I'm not sure if that's a framework or what it is. It's something synonymous with R. And then I can go into the uncompressed and resources and app, and right up here at the top next to this little home icon, there's a little checkbox, and that checkbox will automatically select all of the files and directories in here, and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going over to the More tab, and I'm going to move these, and then I will choose where I'm going to move those to. And I'm actually going to come back out here, and I'm going to choose the Shiny directory that I just created, and I'll click Open. Alright, we can go back to the working directory and then click into Shiny, and now all the files and directories that we need to run the application are there. I've got more in here than what I actually need for Mac. I'm just lazy. You know, I've got the Windows stuff. I think there's probably an exe in here, I don't know, for Windows. But anyway, this gets me everything that I need, and it runs fine. And I think all you actually need are all of the R files. You need all of the RDS files, and you'll also need these two TIFFs. And I think that's the bare necessities for running the application. At this point, we are ready to kind of set up here. Now that we have our working directory populated, and we are in the Shiny app, find the app.R file, and we want to click on that. And here it is down at the bottom of my file tree. So I'm going to click on app.R. And notice now over in the right panel here, all the code from app.R has loaded into this code editor pane. Since I've already installed it, I'm not seeing it, but you may see across the top bar here a yellow warning, and in that warning there will be a link to install dependencies for packages that are missing from the application. And so go ahead and click on the install link if you do get that, which I think that you will if this is your first time install, and it will automatically go through and do the installation of those dependencies. Once that's done, there's a couple more things that you need to do, and we've got to install manually a couple of additional packages. The code editor will help you with code complete, so you can just begin typing, and we're going to type install.packages remotes. And that'll look like the following. And notice that we have the code complete helper come up. And then inside these parentheses, we're going to type quote, and that'll automatically give you opening and closing quotes. And then we're going to type in remotes. And then you can just hit enter. And those are already installed for me, but it just did it again. And then we need to install one more dependency, and that's going to be remotes. And we can choose this right here, remotes with : : and then we're going to continue with install _ GitHub, and that will come up in code complete here. So we'll choose that. And inside there, we're going to add quotes, and we're going to type bips, B-I-P-S, a dash, HB / NEURALNET, neural net. So again, that's bips - HB / neural net in quotes. And then just hit enter. And it's skipping the install for me because I already have it, because it hasn't changed. So for you, it will go ahead and load that. Now at this point, we're pretty much done. We can run the application. So up here, we have the Run App button at the top of the code editor, and we can just click on that green triangle there and run the application. And here we have the Deep Sky Details D-Tools here. I know it's still going through some branding. This is AstroSharp and AstroClean. Let me walk you through the UI and try to give you a brief explanation of the different options that are available here. Okay, so starting at the top, the first thing you need to do is go ahead and browse for and load in the file that you would like to have run through this process for sharpening and for denoise. It does require a TIFF format file, and which actually isn't a problem for me because creating TIFFs is part of my workflow, and it just takes a moment to generate the TIFF, and I usually end up exporting a TIFF at the end of my process anyway. So as one of my final versions, I generally do like a TIFF, a FITS file, and a JPEG for various purposes. And then you can choose the model. So I'm using the hybrid model today in this, but you can choose the betas and just try these out. The PSF model, which is a pre-beta, and then we have the AstroClean. The hybrid model has the sharpening and the AstroClean process combined in it. And as I mentioned before, if you would like to do these separately, then you can do the PSF model first and then save your file and then reopen your file in here and come back in and do the AstroClean. For me, the hybrid model has been working just fine, so I'm going to choose that. And then you need to choose the type of image and whether it's color or black and white. And today I'm working with a color image, so I have that selected. And then this one is important. I would definitely select preview to begin with because this will affect your processing time. And going with the preview initially to work with your settings over on the right-hand side will be a little bit faster than choosing full image at this point. Once you get your settings the way that you like them, then you can come back over here and change to your full image to create your final. Over on the right-hand side, we have options for whether we're going to use single core or multi-core processing. and I would suggest multi-core if you have it available. It's working really good for me, and this will speed up the processing time a little bit. In my testing, the processing was a little bit faster using multi-core, and then the rendering time was about the same. The rendering of the previews and the rendering of the final image was about the same between either single core or multi-core. And but anyway, performance-wise, it's not bad. You will have a little bit of a wait, and depending on your file size and the amount of data in that file, your mileage will vary. So below that, the processing chunk size, I haven't really messed with this at all. I've left it here at the default of 325. I imagine just play with this slider and see if you get different processing results. I haven't been impatient, so I just kind of went with this and go grab a coffee or whatever while it's processing. I'm not in any hurry, but this has been working fine for me as far as the result goes. And but you might play with this and see if you get slower or faster results based on the chunk size that you select here. Now this one is the important one on this side to me, and this is choosing the full width half maximum value that you want to apply to the application for sharpening. And so what I do here is I head over to Serial and to the image that I'm going to be working with today, and I just take a look and select a few stars and get an idea of where I'm actually at. You don't want to choose oversaturated stars, so like I would not choose this one. So I just want to get an idea, and if I look down here at the bottom in Serial, I've got the FWHM here for the star is 4.09. And I'm just going to select a few stars and just kind of in my mind sort of average those out. So it's 4.09, 4.96, 4.71, 4.39. You know, I'm kind of feeling a 4.5 right now. I don't think this has to be exact. If you want, you could certainly write all these down and then average them. So based on my selections here, I'm going to go with a FWHM of 5, I think. I'm going to take 70% of 5. So if I multiply 5 times 0.7, I get 3.5. So we'll go with 3.5. Alright, 3.5 will be my 70% of PSF that I just measured. And then aggressiveness, we'll play with this. I'm going to leave it at 0.66 right now, which is set up as default. And that will allow me to just take a look at the previews, and then I can mess with this slider and the aggressiveness and see and control the amount of sharpening with that. Okay, so over here, I'm going to go ahead and set up for my TIFF file. I haven't created that yet, so I'm going to head back over to Serial, and I'm going to do that. So I will do a save of this file as a TIFF. And 16-bit. So now the file should be available for me. If I go back over here and browse for it, and go to that project's home, and then I have my final result TIFF here. So as I load that, we'll see that I get my original image loaded into a preview. And from here, I can scroll around the image so I can see different areas of it. And kind of maybe find an area that shows off what I want to see. So some of this area here, and I want to see how the detail changes from here, and then also the stars. Maybe I'll come down just a little bit and over a little bit. So yeah, so that gives me some stars. That gives me some of this detail here that I would like to see sharpening on. So at this point, I have all my sliders set and ready to go, and I have my image loaded, so I can go ahead and click on Update Sliders, and this will go ahead and do a generation for me. And this will take just a little bit. Notice down here we have processing. Okay, that wasn't bad. So, based on my selections here in these sliders, if we look at the details here, especially notice this star right here, and then also the noise that's in this image. And understand, this is a final image that I worked on, and I have denoised, and I have done processing over in Photoshop to clean this up. If I come over here and look at that star here, I don't know if it's going to come across in the video, but this is really just it's really dramatic. It looks so much better. So the preview doesn't take too long. I think that I might try a little bit more aggressive and see what we get. I'm going to take this up to 0.75, and then we can click on Update Sliders again. And then it's processing. So we can look at this again. So if we look at the old one, and then look at the new one, I mean, this is pretty obvious to me how this looks in here. It did soften it up just a little bit. I think the star detail, I mean, the stars just seem a lot tighter. You see how fuzzy those are there? How much more detailed those are here? I just am really impressed with it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the full image, and we'll take a look at what the full image processed, and then kind of compare it to the unprocessed image. So clicking on that, we'll begin processing. We'll get a little window here, and we note during the full processing, this progress bar does not update when using multi-core. So this will just go away, and when you see your previews update here, then, and these are kind of shadowed out right now. When that comes back up fully, then this will be done. So grab a coffee. Okay, so the processing completed, and actually that only took about like 2.5 minutes for me this time. I have had on a different image, it was up around 5 minutes. So like I said, your mileage will vary. It just depends on the image that you're working with. Now from the previews, it's we can kind of get an idea of the overall improvement that I'm seeing, but again, I'm not sure how that will translate over into the YouTube video. So I'm going to go ahead and download the processed file and then compare to the larger in a larger view. And I'll put that, and notice that it names it processed and the date, and I'll just put it here. So once that's downloaded, you can then go and preview your completed processed file. So I'm going to open up both of these. So I had my final result, and I have the processed result, and then we can kind of look at these together. So again, hopefully this comes across on the video, but the detail and the noise removal is just, to me, it's well, the first time I looked at this, it was just really a wow moment. The quality of what it's done with my stars, and you know, it's kind of done like a deconvolution, and the stars are just tighter and rounder, The noise in these areas here is just really nice and smoothed out. So for me, this is like the new step in my workflow, and I'm planning on continuing to use this software. And I really want to thank Deep Sky Detail for developing the Deep Sky tools of AstroSharp and AstroClean. We'll see in the future if those names change. Like I said, those are current working titles for the software, and I know he's been having some discussion over on his channel with regards to what the final naming should be, or if it should change at all. All right, so with that, I will present you with the final, with a comparison slider to hopefully show off what I'm seeing in the improvement of my images. So I'm really excited that I have this as part of my workflow now. Again, the AstroSharp and AstroClean are freely available tools over on GitHub. I would like to point out, does accept donations. If you like this software and would like to donate to help continue development of it, you can do that at GoFundMe.com. Help create an accessible Astro sharpening tool, and I'll have that link down in the description as well. If you have any questions on that, you can email Deep Sky Detail. And so with that, I present you with the final image. I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for joining me on my channel today. And if you like this video, please give it a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe would be amazing. So thank you very much.